All right, Shalom. Shalom, giving all praises, all glory, all honors unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the 144,000, the rest of the helpful elect out there. This is your brother, the priest Desire One from GMS Atlanta. Back with another edifying video. More biometric Motb technology news. A lot of your different applications and websites are changing. You know, the way that we access the internet is going to shift in a major way real soon, especially once digital ID and different verification applications are applied to these different sites, right? So this here is dealing with Bumble, and I think I heard of this before. I think it's a dating site. So it says Bumble adds Verif ID verification. So it says popular dating app Bumble. Right, you get different date sites, all these different apps. You know, they all on these different platforms for download, and that's pretty much how people interact nowadays. You know, no one really interacts in person anymore. You know, but that's a sign of the times. I just remember seeing a few commercials about this a few years back. You know, back when Tinder and all that was getting big. So it says, popular dating app Bumble is getting biometric ID verification. All right, it says the feature is optional, but users who verify their identity will be able to add badges to their Bumble profiles. It comes as romance scams have surged on social media and dating platforms. Right, dealing with the social media thing, because I believe in the UK, one of their leaders, I don't know if he was in Parliament, but he spoke on social media in the UK being attached to your identification, so they can identify anyone that's using it. You know, not just your social media name or handle, but actually tied to your actual government name and information. So now these other apps are now adding in these different parameters tied to biometrics. Okay, so it says the ID verification technology comes courtesy of Verif and is available now in 11 markets, including the US and UK, with further expansions planned. To verify, users simply have to upload a government-issued ID, such as a passport or a driver's license, and take a selfie for biometric comparison. Bumble users will also be able to filter for verified profiles and ask matches to verify themselves. So this is another way that's going to lead to the Motb. Everything is going to be biometrics. Pretty much everything is going to be on a database where the government can know who you are and what you're doing at all times. All right, that's all this is leading up to. Rival dating app Tinder launched ID verification with face liveness detection in Japan in 2019, but didn't roll out the feature internationally until last year. So it's a process. Just like the the max jump shot, that was a process. This biometric thing will be a process, and eventually the implant, the Motb, which is the micro C-hip under the skin, that's going to be a process as well, right? And a lot of these things are optional now, to get people, they have to give you the illusion of choice first. Once the illusion of choice is taken away, then everything is made mandatory. All right? It says previously Tinder used selfie biometrics and video selfies as verification tools dating back to 2020. Bumble is also adding a feature called Share Date that allows users to send details of planned dates directly to trusted contacts with the ability to update those plans within the Bumble app. And they're saying it's because of romance scams. And that's true. You get online, but that's the whole thing about being online and being on social media and not living in the real world. Because these people in the world today, we're all, attached to these smartphones and the internet and these different applications. And you can lose a sense of reality, especially when it comes to interaction with people. So you look on different profiles and pictures and videos, and you like a person, and then you end up meeting someone and they end up kidnapping you. All kinds of, horror scenarios happens. You get scammed out of money, might get robbed, situations like that. So the solution is for everyone to be digitally identified in these different systems. And it makes sense based on the wicked climate in the world today. But what that does is that desensitizes people out there to having their private information held in some digital library somewhere. Privacy's out the window. The government knows. So there's pros and cons, so to speak. But what that's going to do is that's going to lead to mandating it for everyone. Okay? So that's it on that. Right? Now, the next thing I want to speak on here is out in the UK. All right? It says citizens told to prepare for October launch of EES. And I spoke on this before. Okay? It says UK citizens have been advised to expect the introduction of the EU, which is the European Union, entry-exit system in October 2025. However, the exact rollout date for the biometric traveler registration scheme is still unknown, according to advice from the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. The European Union will inform about the specific start date of the EES before its launch, the FCDO notice says. And they're doing the same type of similar thing, which I did a video on last week here in the U.S., where you have to have a real ID, a U.S. issued real ID, depending on your state, in order to travel. All right? So if you don't have a real ID, which is like a new updated driver's license, if you don't have that updated real ID, then you won't be able to travel. And they're going to start enforcing it in this coming May 2025. In a lot of states, they already have these different mobile driver's licenses, and certain things are, you're able to do on your smartphone, digital mobile driver's licenses. They're often real IDs or updated licenses in different states. but they want to start really pushing it going into the summer, the spring and summer. So now the EU here, they're also pushing their new travel system. Okay? It says now, following the EES, the EU is also planning to roll out the European Travel Information and Authorization System, which requires visitors to the bloc to apply for entry authorization and pay a €7 fee. So let's say you don't have the charagma, right? In the near future, if you don't have the Motb, the implant, you won't be able to, well, first of all, you won't be able to leave your home country. But in some of these countries, you won't be able to even enter. Okay? So you have to be authorized. You know, you got to have that access. That's why this whole deportation thing is big over here in the U.S. under Trump, because they also wanted to get their border situation under control. They already offer biometrics crossing the border from Mexico into the U.S. Look it up. But see, they have a lot of criminals. They got a lot of activity here that Trump and his government is cracking down on, and they're also going to change the system, the way people come into the country, especially from Mexico. You know, update the biometric systems. Eventually, you're going to need the implant to move to and fro anyway, and that's what all this is leading up to. So they're doing it in the UK. Let's see here. In Europe, the UK, Europe, it says here, in maritime ports such as Dover, the Home Office has also been testing contactless corridors, which use recognition to capture high-quality facial images of travelers while they are in the car. Oh, so they can see you in your car. The images are matched with the confirmed passenger ID and the vehicle they are traveling in. So these devils they don't know everything, man. That's why it's so important that they put the technology inside your body. But y'all don't believe us here at Great Millstone. You rather continue to follow Bishop Nathaniel, General Yohana, and these other reprobate groups that don't have the real vision of prophecy, and you think you're going to keep the commandments your way into the kingdom. No. That's going to be the big test. The big test is going to be having to take the micro C-hip implant. All right? That biometric implant. You're going to need that in order to buy and sell according to the book of Revelation. And if you're not listening to Great Millstone and you don't understand what's happening, then you're going to be, as we used to say, SOL. Shit out of luck. And you're going to meet the judgment of the Lord by being destroyed. Okay? That's the times we're coming into. Matter of fact, here we go. Precept. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book. The prophet Daniel was told by the angel to seal the book. But now the book is unsealed. All right? When you read the book of Revelation, it says that Yahushua was worthy of opening the 7 seals to give us the understanding and reveal what's going to happen. So at one point, the book, the understanding was sealed. Now the book is open. Okay? It says, even to the time of the end, and we're in that time now. So now that we're in the end, the book was sealed for a certain time. Now it's open in the end of this thing. Many shall run to and fro. How are people able to run to and fro? Plane, train, and automobile. That didn't exist in the time of Daniel. There weren't no flying machines. There weren't no horseless carriages. All right? And there weren't no trains, mechanical trains. It says, and knowledge shall be increased. Knowledge, when you are gaining an understanding of the world around you, you're able to innovate. And that's when you get inventions. And within the last, 100, 120, 30 years, we've seen a number of different inventions alone change the way the world works. So this definitely ties into what the article is saying. Right? The different articles are saying. Everything is going to change once this biometric digital identification system is established in the earth. And once they do that, and they offer you the implant, whether it's in your forehead or your right hand, then that's going to be the time when the Lord is going to judge the wicked on the earth. Okay? So people shall run to and fro, knowledge shall be increased, right? And then the system is eventually going to give you that mark, which is the Greek word charagma, which means something that you cut and insert under the flesh. Revelation 13:16. And he, which is the beast, the Edomites, and their governing powers, and he causeth all individual people, all nations and countries, religions, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So if you're tied into this system, you got the spirit, I just want to feed my family, all of that, then you're in jeopardy of taking the Motb. So if you want to travel, you want to go see your family in another state, family in another country, you want to buy and sell, you're going to have to get that device. Right? Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All of that goes hand in hand. Okay? So that's what we're speaking on here, what's to come in the future. And eventually, that's going to be the end of this world. Once the great the great implanting happens, then that's when soon the missiles are going to be launched, and then Yahweh Shai is going to deliver the elect. Babylon the Great will be destroyed, and Esau's kingdom will come down. So that's all we're waiting for. Okay? So it's important that we pay attention to these different articles and what type of information they're bringing out and what things are leading to. Because not just your dating apps, but your Instagram, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your TikToks, all of that, you're going to have to verify who you are eventually. Your real life persona, not your nickname on the social media site. All right? You're going to have to identify yourself. And then you're going to need to have a digital ID so you can buy groceries or sell, continue to keep your business running. and then you got to have it if you want to travel. All right? And it's just the truth. I'm just telling you what the spirit of Yahweh Shai is on me to tell you, so I can warn you about what's to come, so you won't take it. Ultimately, this implant. All of this is just the news to build your faith up, to give you the understanding of what's to come. But with that, I'm going to close out, give our praise, glory, and honors unto Yahweh B'Shem Shai B'Shem Kakodash. Shalom.